In a world that often measures beauty by impossible standards, where size, skin, and shape are used as filters to define worth, there comes a woman who refuses to fit into that box because she has built her own. Her name is Aashna Bhagwani, and her story is a reminder that true confidence is not born from perfection, but from power. The power to love yourself exactly as you are. Aashna Bhagwani is not just an influencer or a content creator. She is a movement wrapped in grace and authenticity. From her early days as a young dreamer in India to becoming one of the country's most beloved plus-size fashion voices, Aashna's journey represents something every woman can relate to: the battle between self-doubt and self-acceptance. Her story begins in the vibrant heart of India, a place filled with color, culture, and contradictions. Growing up, Aashna faced the same silent pressures that so many young girls experience: the expectations to look a certain way, to fit into clothes that were not designed for every body, and to smile through the discomfort of comparison. She often spoke about how hard it was to find representation of real women in Indian media. Everywhere she looked, the faces that filled magazines and advertisements seemed to echo the same message: that beauty had to look a certain way, and everything else was simply not enough. But Aashna was different. Even in her teenage years, she carried within her a quiet strength, a creative spark that refused to be silenced. She loved expressing herself through colors, styles, and makeup. Fashion was never just fabric for her, it was freedom. It was her way of painting her identity across the canvas of a world that often overlooked her. Before fame, before followers, and before influence, Aashna was simply a girl with a camera, an idea, and a dream. She began sharing small snippets of her life online, pictures, reflections, and fashion experiments that represented her true self. The response was not instant, but it was honest. A small group of people connected with her rawness, her humor, and her confidence. Unlike other influencers who curated perfection, Aashna showed imperfection proudly. She laughed at her mistakes, embraced her scars, and slowly built a digital space that felt safe for everyone who had ever been told they were too much or not enough. As her following grew, so did her influence. What started as casual posts soon transformed into a movement of body positivity and self-love. She began speaking out openly about the lack of plus-size representation in Indian fashion and the emotional toll of growing up in a culture that often equates thinness with success. Her words struck a chord with women across the nation. Many wrote to her saying that her courage gave them the strength to wear what they loved, to pose for pictures without hiding behind layers, and to stand proudly in their own skin. Aashna's rise to fame came not because she followed trends, but because she created them. She introduced a new wave of confidence into Indian fashion, one that celebrated curves, color, and character. She began collaborating with major brands and designers who saw the authenticity in her style and message. But even when she began to appear in campaigns and features, she never lost her grounded nature. Her captions remained heartfelt, her laughter real, and her presence genuine. Through her content, Aashna reminded her followers that fashion is not about size. It is about expression. She wore bold colors, experimented with styles, and often paired traditional Indian pieces with modern twists, proving that self-expression is limitless when you stop trying to please others. Her style became a form of storytelling, each outfit a statement of confidence, each photo a message of liberation. However, Aashna's journey was not without challenges. The internet, as we know, can be both a stage and a storm. For every word of encouragement, there were critics waiting with negativity. She faced body shaming, judgment, and unsolicited opinions about her appearance. But what made Aashna extraordinary was not that she ignored the hate. It was that she transformed it into power. She used every insult as fuel to speak louder for self-love. She addressed the harshness of digital spaces head-on, often creating videos and posts that talked about emotional healing and mental health. Her honesty about anxiety, self-doubt, and confidence struggles made her one of the most relatable voices online. She reminded her followers that even the strongest people have fragile moments, and even the most confident women have days where they question their reflection. But those moments do not define us. They refine us. Aashna became the friend her audience did not know they needed, offering compassion, humor, and wisdom in every post. As her reach expanded globally, her message remained rooted in love. She collaborated with international brands, appeared in fashion features, and became a beacon of positivity for women across continents. Yet, she never stopped celebrating her roots. She proudly wore Indian attire in global campaigns, introducing her culture to the world and reminding everyone that beauty is not bound by geography or size. Behind the glamour of her photos lies a woman who has constantly worked on herself, not to change who she is, but to understand herself better. She often speaks about therapy, mindfulness, and the importance of mental health awareness. She encourages her audience to seek help, to talk about emotions, and to release the guilt of imperfection. Her openness about her emotional journey made her a role model not just for plus-size women, but for anyone learning to love themselves again. Aashna's charm lies in her relatability. Her content feels like a conversation, warm, funny, real. She shares moments from her life that others might hide, bloopers, unflattering angles, even her bad days. This transparency has built a trust that is rare in influencer culture. Her followers feel connected to her not as a celebrity, but as a companion in their own journey of self-discovery. Over the years, Aashna has become one of India's most respected voices in fashion inclusivity. She has collaborated with beauty brands that celebrate diversity, appeared in body-positive campaigns, and been featured in conversations about redefining modern beauty. Her message is simple but profound. Confidence is not about having the perfect body. It is about making peace with the one you have. In interviews, she often describes how her own journey toward acceptance took time. There were moments of pain, moments of questioning, but also moments of victory, like wearing her first bikini publicly or walking into a room knowing she belonged there. Each of these milestones became symbols of strength for her fans, who saw in her a mirror of their own potential. Her fashion sense is fearless. She plays with prints, textures, and silhouettes that many would shy away from. Her ability to mix glamour with comfort makes her style refreshing and accessible. But what truly makes her magnetic is the confidence she carries, the kind that cannot be bought, filtered, or imitated. Aashna Bhagwani has also become a mentor figure to younger creators. She often speaks about the responsibility that comes with influence. She believes that social media can either harm or heal, depending on how it is used. Through her platforms, she chooses healing. She supports local designers, promotes body-positive art, and constantly reminds her followers to uplift others. Her evolution from an ordinary girl to a globally recognized influencer is not just a career story, it is a cultural shift. Aashna's journey represents the voice of a new generation, one that is unapologetically itself. She is a living example that visibility matters. Because every time she posts a picture, speaks her truth, or embraces her body publicly, she helps another woman feel seen. Today, Aashna Bhagwani stands as one of India's leading curvy fashion influencers, a woman who has conquered both hearts and algorithms without compromising her authenticity. She continues to inspire conversations about representation in fashion, confidence in individuality, and compassion in self-talk. Her legacy is not built on followers or numbers. It is built on the lives she has touched and the mindsets she has changed. Her journey is proof that when you accept yourself, the world eventually follows. She has shown that power does not come from being flawless. It comes from being fearless. Her laughter, her energy, and her message continue to echo across digital spaces, making her a true icon of modern empowerment. If you scroll through her social media feed today, you will not just find beautiful outfits, you will find courage stitched between every frame, joy shining through every smile, and truth reflected in every caption. You will see a woman who dared to be seen, and by doing so, taught others to do the same. Aashna Bhagwani's story reminds us that beauty does not demand validation. It demands celebration. It tells us that our differences are not weaknesses, but signatures of our individuality. It challenges us to stop hiding behind standards that were never ours to begin with and start owning the skin we are in. So, the next time you question your reflection, remember this. Someone like Aashna once did too, until she decided to love herself louder than the world's judgment. And in that moment, she became unstoppable. If Aashna Bhagwani's journey inspired you to embrace your individuality and celebrate your confidence, then join us here on Sweet Model's World, the home of beauty, strength, and self-expression. Like this video, share it with someone who needs a reminder that they are enough, and subscribe to be part of our growing community where every curve tells a story, and every story inspires a change. Because at Sweet Model's World, we do not just talk about beauty, we redefine it one model at a time.